That's better. Hey, I'm going to put down what we're sitting at right now. Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay. Last week was a very weird week, and I know you guys that follow me saw that. But we're going to have some good conversation about that, I think. Okay, let me see. Got to go to you, and got to go to my thing. Yeah, okay. And here we go. I'm gonna put up a message here. Thanks to all of you, I'm at 24. Oh, I forgot where I was. I gotta go back. Let's see. Yeah, I'm at 2,941 subs. Outstanding. I'm just flabbergasted. I really am. I have 2,486. Yeah, there you go, 2,486. Thanks to all of you, I'm sitting at 2,486 watch hours. I'm closer and closer all the time. God bless you all, and I mean that. So, good morning, Jamie, or good afternoon, mate. Almost always my first friend in. Thank you for the moment of silence for the veterans. So, how's the day over there? Across the pond? I was going to go out and dig live this morning for about an hour, but I decided not to because I am on my last appointments with the disease doctor and the podiatrist, I think. And I'm going in Wednesday morning. I got to be in the hospital at 5:30. We're going to do an angioplasty on my left leg, so going to better up my circulation. You can't hear me? Uh-oh. That's not good. Why not? Can you hear me now? I don't know. My granddaughter used the microphone. Good morning, William E. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Oh, cool. All right. That's what I wanted to hear. Well, that's good. Okay, Jamie, I'll speak up a little bit. The microphone should be working good, though. Hey, Kenneth Bird, good morning. Welcome in to my house, you guys. I got a few things to show you. A lot of treasure trash. You guys are probably not going to be impressed, but that's okay. I wanted to go over some things here that last week, you know, that my grandson and my son were here, and on Tuesday we used My Legend, and we used the MIDI Horde. That's an Octa product. It's a $150 metal detector, and we went to the beach. We didn't go long. I mean, we were only out there a couple hours, but we got a little bit of a live out there, but I was getting a weird signal. And so anyway, we were using the two different detectors. On Wednesday, we went up into the mountains, and I couldn't get a signal up there for, you know, love nor money. And we used the Simplex Plus and the MIDI Horde and My Legend. And we found some good stuff. We didn't find anything really precious, but we only hunted for about an hour up in the mountains. And we hunted in a picnic area at the local restaurant up at Crystal Lake. And Gus, the owner there, gave me permission to go out and hunt their picnic area. And we didn't get really all over the picnic area. It's a huge picnic area, and I'll have to go back up there and see what I can find. But we found some interesting things. And we had a really good time with my son and grandson. So this past week was my first time out really hunting. Hey, Stu, good morning. How you doing? So it was all about visiting with my son and grandson. There wasn't about me at all. You know, I make this about me a lot. And if, you know, being self-centered, I'm kind of all about me getting this goal. So, and you guys are really amazing helping me out here, because everybody knows you don't have to. I'm having such a good time, though, even with my foot being down and even throwing my hip out. That was a bugger. That was bad. That scared me, but I've never had that happen before, so I hope it never happens again. I gotta curtail some of the things that I do the way I do them, because when you're protecting one part, you can always hurt another part, especially when you get up there, you know, middle-aged like I am. So in a minute, we're going to talk about the things that we found. Saturday, I went and took my son and grandson, getting around to it, and I took them back to the airport over in Long Beach. And I was going to go to the beach on Saturday, but I wasn't feeling real well, and I decided that it wouldn't be a good idea for me to go out on the beach. So I really wanted to, really wanted to, but we came back, and I just did a couple of parks closer to home. I didn't do too bad. Didn't find anything really ridiculously fine, but I found, you know, a few coins, and I found some pretty interesting things. Everything's interesting to me in the parks. So all right, 588. Jamie, you keep doing the shorts, you're going to get some more subs. You're going to get a bunch. I'm just short of 3,000 subs, and I can't believe it. So, hey, Lucky James, thank you for coming by. So anyway, here I am yapping away, and got some pretty neat things to go over. Found the difference between the Nocta MIDI Horde $150 detector and the Legend isn't all that much for hunting. The sounds are different. How long have I been on? This morning? Just for 11 minutes, 12 minutes. So you caught me right in the beginning this time. So anyway, I'm going to turn away from me here, and so I can show you some of the things we got. I did get one ring though. It was the only ring we got. So we can't count it for anything, but it is the only ring we got. 50 subs in 2 hours. That's excellent, Jamie. My highest for the day was like 67. That was for a full day. And I felt blessed then. Goodness. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera down here. You see my ceiling there. And we're going to get down here. Okay, that's a good spot. So some of the things that we got here up at the lake. The only thing I got really to show you up there is a couple things. My son found with the Simplex Plus, okay? And it's a assortment of things here. So he found a bearing, and he found a lag bolt, a regular bolt, two little regular bolts. He got a quarter. Oh, wait a minute. He also got a dime and a nickel. So this is what he got with the Simplex Plus up at the lake. So my grandson up at the lake got some different stuff. And these things, he got this, looks like a support plate for a 2x4. And then this he found, but this was buried in the ground, and we've just broke a little piece off of it because I dug down a foot and it was still there and I couldn't get it out. And it's a strapping of some sort. It's rolled on one side, and it was just this strap, and it was better than a foot long. It was still buried deep in the ground. I couldn't pull it out. So we just broke this little piece off of it just to show it. And then he found a curtain ring, and he found a quarter. And he found 4 zinkins. Oh, and he found a copper bit. He took that home with him. He found a 1982 copper. And I found a 1981 copper there. And I gave it to him so he could take those 2 coppers home. So I can't show the coppers to you. Sorry about that. So, you guys still hearing me all right? So this is what a MIDI Horde $150 metal detector was getting. And my son with the Simplex Plus, I just showed you what he got. And I got the 1 copper, and I got the I got 1 copper, I got the quarter, I got a wing nut, and we got untold bottle caps and pull tabs, could be's. I mean, we only dug there for an hour, but we probably brought back about 60 bottle caps and pull tabs. So this is what I got with my Legend, other than bottle caps and pull tabs and assorted pieces of metal. So this is what I got. And a lot of pull tabs and a lot of bottle caps, because that's what I do. I dig them all out to find everything we can. So I was watching Austin this morning, Treasure Outdoors. He's on live this morning, and he's like me. He digs every signal that he gets. In a trashy area, you can't dig every signal. It's just impossible to go around some places and dig every single signal, because there's so much there, unless you're going to clean up that area like I've done. Like I did that one day that I went back hunting, and I was trying to clean up, and I did a 10-foot square area around a picnic bench and got loads and loads of treasure trash. Well, we went to California Adventure. We didn't make it to Disneyland. We were going to, because my son-in-law works at Disney, and he got a good price on the tickets for getting us in. And but the tickets on the particular day, because it was a holiday, Veterans Day, you could only go to California Adventure in the morning, and after 1 o'clock in the afternoon you could go to Disneyland. But we got busy and didn't really make it to Disneyland. But the trip with my grandson was awesome, and I only put up a couple of little things. My attention was on just seeing my grandson at the park and seeing what he likes and dislikes. 'Cause I don't get to be around him much because he's in Florida. So we were all just there for him. And it was a good trip, though. We had a lot of fun. And because of my hip being thrown out and my leg, we got one of those scooters for me. And we went around on wheels. So I didn't have to walk too much. So that was good, because I think that would have worn me out. Hey, Stu, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging with us. I appreciate you coming by and saying hi. God bless you. Have a great day, huh? So I did find, oh, wait a minute. Hang on just a second. Be right back. I forgot. I'm here. I'm just, I forgot my jacket pocket. I forgot my jacket pocket. Okay. I think I got it all. Let's see. Yeah, I think I got it all. Okay, at the Disneyland trip, or California Adventure trip, this was from the lake, up at Crystal Lake, and this is what we got on our trip to Disneyland. You never are not a treasure hunter, right? Okay, my grandson found this. We didn't have a metal detector, but these are all the little sparklies that you find when you go for a walk. So I think that one, is that one upside down? Yeah, I think that one went upside down. Nope, that's right side up. So, little sparklies. When you're a treasure hunter, you're a treasure hunter. So, okay, the first thing we found on the way in, getting around to it, and I saw this about the same time, was a little clip off a bag or something. Then, before we even got to the ticket booth, getting around to it, found an earring. It's just bling, but it was along the way. Then we found a dime. Yeah, it's getting that time of year, isn't it, Jamie? And then we found a penny. Then Hugo and I, my grandson and I, found this at the restaurant. So, you know, everything that Disney puts out pretty much, these ears that they put out, these things come off of those ears. Everybody's playing with their ears. They got all these jewels on them and everything. You can find those. Getting around to it, found this Michael Kors nameplate. Came off of some designer bag there. Yep, says, well, I can't get it to stand up and say Michael Kors. Maybe I can here. Let's see if I get it to stand up against that. There you go. Michael Kors nameplate. So that was our treasure from Disneyland. California Adventure. This is an accumulation of everybody finding things that sparkle on the ground. So, once a treasure hunter, always a treasure hunter. Don't forget to hit that like button, thumbs up, if you have to leave. But I sure appreciate you guys hanging out with me. So, yesterday, this is all from, Disney. So we never stop treasure hunting, right? Never stop. I found, one time I went to Disneyland, I found a gold earring. So you don't need a metal detector to find gold. So yesterday, no, not yesterday, Saturday, I gave up the beach because I wasn't feeling real well, so I wanted to stay closer to home. We came home and from Long Beach and went to a couple of parks that I frequent, and parks are always givers. I don't care how many times you go to a park, you're going to find something when you go back the next time. So we found a lot of these, but I found one of these on Saturday in the park. But always getting those because people leave them behind. They set up their canopies and stuff and leave their tent stakes. And I got a lot more of these, a lot more. I have a whole array of different size nails and everything, but not everybody's thrilled at those. And the bolts, I got more of those. And the little pieces of wire, I always take these out because they can hurt people. I mean, they even hurt me once in a while. I pick them up and grab them the wrong way. This, I'm not sure what this is. Now this looks like it was a piece of tubing that they might have cut and crimped, maybe. But it's heavy, so I'm not too sure. Could have had a use, could have been some type of tool at one time. I don't know, it didn't seem, if I break off the rust. So it's got to be steel, right? It's got to be steel. Hard to cut a piece of steel with like a dike or something. Anyway, I think it was some kind of a prong off of something, some kind of tool for digging. I think it just came off. It would be interesting to know what some of these things are. When you find them, they're just unidentifiable, really, but, you know, get your imagination going, right? But I was really impressed, thinking about it, that my grandson pulled up a lot with the MIDI Horde from Nocta. Yes, I am in the States. Southern California, down by Los Angeles. But now I found one of these. This is a fishing weight, a steel fishing weight, not lead. And the MIDI Horde picked these up just fine. And these are pretty good size and everything, but you know, it picked these up just as well as I did with the Legend. And he found this which I recognize it as a animal watering tube. It goes in a rubber plug, goes in a bottle, and usually has a ball bearing in it. But to a water stop, I think the ball bearing's in there someplace. But anyway, he found this with his MIDI hoard. And so I'm thinking, you know, people are always asking me, and I'm always telling them that that you shouldn't spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to find out if you like I mean, aside from the coins, I mean, he found pennies, nickels, dimes, but he found things like this, you know, the nuts, and just like I do, he found all kinds of pretty cool things. I still think that people should try out the hobby with something. I bought a Goldmaster to prospect gold with back in the 90s, and that's what I started out with, and it's a great detector. It just won't go in the water, and that's the only reason I bought a Legend, was so I could go in the water. I just really wanted to go in the water, and you can't do it with that. You can't do it with a mini hoard either, but you can take a $150 detector, not put too much out of pocket. They've even got them for like $89 at like stores like Big Five and around. You know, different sports stores have metal detectors. And I think that the investment should be in what you want to keep doing, not what you think you want to do, right? You shouldn't go out and spend a whole bunch of money to find out if you like digging in the dirt, because this is all about digging in the dirt, and treasure hunting is not like finding rings and necklaces and pendants and bracelets. That's part of it. Everybody likes to do that. Everybody wants to find those things, but the treasure hunting is actually the hunt and doing something and finding something out of the ordinary. And it's Hugo, Pam. Good morning. I think that's my grandson Hugo on my daughter-in-law's channel. But I'm not sure. It's me, Hugo. Hello, Hugo. So these are the things that he was finding, with some of them with the MIDI hoard. And back to finding anything, you know, you find things like this. This has got a really good sounding signal. And I collect the zipper pulls because they do have a good sounding signal. And I think it's interesting that, you know, you find things that, everything that people leave behind, and what they drop intentionally or not, It's what's left over after people have been there. So if you're lucky enough to go to a place where people were there a long time ago, and not so much now, but a long time ago, then you're going to find some more interesting things. So that's the treasure hunting of it. And one of these days I'm going to get to one of those places, but in the meantime, I'm finding what I can find. You know, this is just a bottle cap. But it's still an interesting find. You know, you gotta think that these things could have been some type of piece of steel in a Civil War battle area or an old village someplace. That bottle cap could have been something totally different and sound exactly the same, finding a relic of some sort. So just think if something like this would have been, now this isn't, it's a sleeve of some kind, but my son found it with the Simplex Plus. At first we thought it was a shotgun shell. Could have been a brass shotgun shell with a, for like a slug or something. But it's the end of a piece of pipe, some sort. It has a, here the squished in has a ridge on it, so it fit into something, and the ridge was a fit stop. And don't know exactly what it was. It could have been a lipstick tube. Could have been a lipstick tube, yeah. So that's for the cap, the lip stop there is for like a cap. So it's just, it's the, what is it? Then if you can figure it out, it's fun if you can figure it out. If you can't figure it out, it's still fun trying to think about it. But back to the metal detector, that little MIDI hoard that Hugo here was using, it picks up the metal. And the cute thing about it was on that one that isn't on mine. Mine's numbers and tones, and his is tones, and it'll tell you whether it's a nail or a bottle cap or a nut, an iron, a piece of iron, or it'll go over and it'll say it's a coin or jewelry. Oh, there's a horseshoe on there too. I thought that was cute. But then it tells you whether it's a coin or jewelry on one side. So the more precious could be's are on the right side, and the iron tones are on the left side. So you have a good idea. So these people that want to know what it is before they even dig it out, then that gives them a better idea of it. But the little mini hoard did quite well. So I would recommend something like that for somebody who wants to start the hobby and go out and see if the treasure hunting part of it is what they really want to do. Everybody can watch and say, oh, I'd like to do that. But then when they get out there and do it, they find, I don't really like this. So I'd rather recommend somebody buy something really cheap to find out if they like the hobby. Because that's the whole thing. Do you like the hobby? If you like the hobby, then you want to get a detector that does what you want to do. If you want to go in the water, you want to get a waterproof one. If you want to go deeper, you want to get a more powerful setup that claims that it can go deeper. If you want to just do shallow surface, you know, you don't need very much for that. That MIDI horde will do the surface just fine. Thank you, grandson. You are awesome. I had so much fun with you this past week. You and your daddy. Um, you made our week. Me and Grandma are just so happy that you got to come out here. And I'm really happy you got to take your metal detector out and find some really good stuff. And so these grommets, these sound like rings because they are a ring. And if you're listening to tones and you have found rings and you know what a ring kind of sounds like, which it's really hard to determine what anything is when it's still in the ground, right? I really enjoy talking to people who pass things over and say, well, my detector tells me what it is. Well, you know, you've got your opinion, I got mine. My detector doesn't tell me anything about what it is. I can only guess. Until I see it, I don't know what it is. You know, so I can guess. I can say, oh, that sounds like a quarter. Oh, that sounds like a it sounds like a ring. Well, this one was really a funny sounding one. This had, let me get some of this stuff out of the way here. This I found Saturday, and this had all kinds of different sounds. I was getting all kinds of different signals for this. Because you see, there's a ring. So I was getting something that sounded like a ring. And what I'm talking about sounding like a ring is it's a chatter. Yep, got a ring thingy. So you get the ring chatter because it's a stutter more when it's this shape in the ground. And it's even different if it's like this. The chain is the same way. It gets a little stuttery. But this gives a really sharp squawk, you know. So this is a solid piece of metal. So this is laying in the ground like this, and I'm getting like 3-4 different signals on this. And so because I'm going to dig it up, they don't sound really good, you know, like it wouldn't sound like a quarter or silver or anything that you would think that it would be. It gave me so many different signals, I had to dig it up just to find out what it was. It's a boy. Yep, it's a boy. So you can't just leave it in the ground because then you don't know. It could have been a ring. It could have been a real ring. It could have been a gold ring. It could have been a silver ring. It was about 2 inches deep. It wasn't very deep. It was under some wood chips and about 2 inches into the dirt. So it had been there for quite a while, as you can tell, being rusty and everything. But still a fun find, you know, and gives you the experience of finding something and trying to guess what it is. And it could have been one of 3 things. But this just, it gave off a weird tone. you know, and it's an Allen wrench. It's a good find, but I wouldn't have dug it if I wasn't digging iron. This sounded like it could have been a gold ring too. You know, gold rings that I've found sound a lot like this. Clean it. That's lemon juice is a pretty strong acid. That'll eat up a lot of stuff. It'll tarnish things, and it, you know, you use lemon juice to uh, to etch things. Well, yeah, that'll clean up pretty good. It'll just wash up. This part of it will wash up. This, I could clean the rust off of it with some vinegar, and it would clean up pretty good. But it's pretty rusty. It's like, in order to put it on the back. Looks like a, not sure what's on the back. You're in Detroit, Lucky James? That's cold right about now, isn't it? So these things are, they sound like small rings. That's my grandson Hugo saying hello to y'all. So he's one grandson that was with me on Wednesday morning. All of you guys that came in. So I found found 10 zinkins Saturday. I think 2 in one park and 8 in another. So I got a pile of zinkins. And those things were all over the place. I keep telling everybody, you know, that you can't tell what anything is. These things go from 11 to a 45. So whatever it is in there, if you don't dig it between 11 and 45, you're not going to find some things. And along with this, about 3 feet away, 4 feet away maybe, I found this 10 gauge head stamp. And that's an oldie. That's pre-58. Anything pre-58 is paper. So that would have had a paper sleeve, a paper shank, and it's rotted away. Anything 58 and beyond is pretty much plastic. And those sound good too because they're brass. They sound really good. They give you a good tone, and you're always surprised to find a head stamp, especially in a park, an old one like this. But you know, it comes in with the wood chips and the landfill that they bring in to make the parks. So I could see this one being brought in a long time ago. It was about 4 inches down, so it gave me off a really good signal, and I was in great hopes on that one, but it's a head stamp. This is one thing I found. I like finding the teeny things because the teeny things are the things that get to you most. And when you find these, you wonder, what in the world is that? So there you go. There's this you got to clean up to find out what it really is. And I'll probably never find out. I think it's a gear of some kind. It's the only thing I can think that it is, because on one side it looks squarish, and then it's ground. And see what I mean about wonderment? Talca detector! Hola, my amigo! So, what do you think? Gear? Some kind of gear? Might have a hole all the way through. It looks like, does it have a, whoop, 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 whoop. All right, dropped it again. So, anyway, let's see if I got a hole all the way through. Thought at first it was just a hole on one side. Well, William, that's pretty small. And earring backs are even smaller than this. And I've gotten the teeniest of, that's just a divot. It's not a hole all the way through. So it sat on something. Just got to be a gear of some kind. But I found teeny earrings. I found it'll pick up BB sized anything, the size of a BB, and picks up black sand, even little slivers like this of rust it will pick up. So you just have to be conscious of what is coming up. I dig those little chirps a lot of times just to see what they are. A lot of people will just pass them over. That's not a real signal. It's not giving me a real tone. But if the detector gives me a number, then it's got to be a real tone. But I've dug stuff that it says 0 on the detector vid screen. The numbers come up 0, but I'm getting a signal, so I'll dig it to see if I can find it. Bye-bye, Hugo. Big hugs to you. Love you, kid. Thanks you for coming in to say hi. Say bye to my grandson, everybody. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up before you leave, Hugo. That was cool. You guys have to go back and watch my Wednesday live. It's not very long, but Hugo was on there with me, and my grandson is a natural YouTubist. So I didn't check the dates on the coins that I found. That's a newer nickel because it's 3/4. There's an old one. Let's see what kind of date I get on the coins that I can see here. Let's see this one. Will I be able to see the dates on the camera or not? Come on. Yeah, it's not going to focus in. See if I can see it with a loop. Sometimes I luck out and get an older coin. This one's only a 95. 1995 nickel. And you got a newer nickel. This one's got the 3/4 face on it. So it's not old at all. But I did get some dimes. Don't think I got anything old. But Saturday I got quite a few dimes. The legend was zeroed in on dimes for some reason. Let's see, there's a 1995. '97. Oh, 1976. That's an older one. These are all found in the same park. '94. I got it. Here's the ones that are going to be harder to read because they're dirty. That's a 2000. Look at the difference between a 94 and a 2000. I think it's the difference in material that they're using. The newer ones always go dark faster. Yeah. See, 2006, 2016. And what's this one? This one's black. And that's a 2018. So look at the difference here. There's a 2018 and 2016 and another 2018. And these are all 90s. 95, 96, 97. There's a 76. Must be the difference in material, because they, you know, or the time. Some of the other. What was the diamond we found at Disney? That was on top of the ground, so this was a fresh drop. And that's a 2017. Quarters. There's a 19. Oh, come on. 1983. There's a these were buried alongside a basketball court, I think. And these were 2011 and then 1983. Yeah, we find quite a bit of money on the surface. But it's all fun, right? All fun and games here. Let's see, this quarter was a newer quarter, I think. This is one of the state quarters. What is that? What is it? Yeah, it's a West Virginia. West Virginia, 2006. And what we found up at the lake, that's a newer nickel. I think this is a, yeah, there we go. Block Island, 2018. So I'm not going to be digging this week. I think I'll be recovering the rest of this week after Wednesday. Just making sure everything goes right. Another 2017 dime. So at Santa Fe Dam on Thursday, I did get a nice weight, a 2-ouncer. And I got a little split shot. Another little net. This is not a net. This is a striker, part of a striker off of a lighter. But you got to go for those teeny things so that you can know that you're not missing the little jewelry. But you don't always get real lucky. This is getting around to its find, and I think this is the find of the week. Best piece of jewelry. So all in all, we did okay on the change. What do we got here? Got 2, 4, 6, 8, $1.10 in dimes, 15 cents in nickels. We got thought it had more quarters in here. Oh, I guess not. 75 cents in quarters. Well, some of the grandson took home, so it's not an accurate count of everything. And then we got about 20 cents in pennies. But you can't discount all of the cool things we found that get your imagination going. I just love to know what that was. I wish that I knew exactly what it was. But, you know, I'll never know. It's just a piece of scrap right now. What was once. Something might have been pretty cool. And this, I think, is some kind of tube, like a lipstick tube or something, an old lipstick tube. Yeah, probably just a tube that was smashed. You're probably right. We find a lot of that kind of stuff. But up at the lake, I think this was the find of the day. Fingernail clippers are always cool to find. And these will work. I just had to take it over here. Oh. Yeah, the file's not even too rusty. So a little vinegar will clean that right up. So a good pair of clippers. But I still wonder what this is. It's got to be a gear of some kind. the way it's cut. Oh, anyway, there it is. So, anyway, my week of short-lived hunts was excellent. I didn't stay out all day hunting. I was really good about it, not staying on my feet all the time, even though I kept wanting to go further. I did stop within reason. We only hunted for a little while each day, and I didn't overwork anything. Yeah, that just riding around on a scooter all day is tiring. But I was going to take more little videos and stuff, but I got just too wrapped up in moving around the park and enjoying the day instead of trying to figure out something cool. I apologize for that. I didn't get very many good videos to put on, and that was one of my intentions to do, but it's hard to take pictures when you're moving with the family. Pretty easy to take pictures in the lines, but there's not very much going on in the lines except for a little short piece just before the ride. Hey, see Happy Chappy. Good morning. How you doing today? Thanks for coming by. Yeah, could have done a photo collage. Not too busy, not digging too much, but I did dig for a couple hours on Saturday. Got a couple hours in like Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and then I dug on Saturday. So, not too much of a long, drawn-out hunt, but we found a lot of stuff. A lot of treasure trash. I love roller coasters. Yeah, we couldn't go on the roller coaster rides because the little one, he's not into roller coasters, so we were doing other things. And The lines were crazy at California Adventures. Like some of the lines were like 2.5 hours long. So you couldn't hardly go on the rides. Hey, BC Treasure. No, you're not late. Anytime you want to come in, BC, that's fine. Yeah, going to a park is always expensive. So good to see all of you in here. I really appreciate you guys spending your time here looking at my treasure trash. But after this week, I'll probably be doing some better. I'll at least be out there sometimes a little bit longer and maybe having a better opportunity of finding something cool. I have a couple of places that I haven't been in a while, and I'm hoping that nobody else has been there either. So if I can find a place that nobody else goes to and leave it alone long enough, somebody's bound to drop something. So yeah, just got to pick and choose where you go. I hated passing up the beach on Saturday because we were there. We were at Long Beach and right there at the beach, but I was a little under the weather for some reason. Felt a little nauseous and just out of the ordinary. Not sick, but just out of the ordinary. So it didn't feel right to be trying to spend time on a beach away from all kinds of facilities. Oh, thanks, James. That makes me feel so much better. No, not vertigo. I'm not sure what happened Saturday. I felt great when I got up, but then when I went over to the airport, it was kind of like feeling that always urgent type feeling that you shouldn't be out where you can't move fast. So, Thanks, James. It's all good natured. It's all good natured. You guys are great, though. But I am getting closer and closer all the time, thanks to you guys spending this time with me. I sometimes wish that I had a lot more to show you that, you know, is more exciting, but like I said, everything's exciting to me. Even a 2-ounce sinker can be exciting. You know, any of this stuff could have been jewelry. Any of this stuff could have been a diamond ring, you know, something really cool. I hope you didn't have COVID there, Happy Chappy. I think that's one of the, vertigo is one of the symptoms of that, right? Thanks, William. That's cool. I love procrastination then. That's right, James. That's all it is you know, a lot of people don't understand it. You have to have that, how do you say it? You just have to have that in you. And people around you, even though they love you and they want to be with you and they are having a good time, they don't understand what you're like. I head back to the car and I say, all right, I'm on my way back to the car. Well, I might find 20 or 30 targets between where I'm at and the car. And so it takes me a lot longer to get from one place to another because of my wanting to see what's in the ground. And every time I get a signal, I have to turn my metal detector off. If I'm going to go directly from one spot to another, I have to turn my metal detector off, because if it makes a sound, I have to see what's under it. You know, that's just the treasure hunting aspect of what we do. And it is, whether it's a chunk of a smashed pipe or a grommet or a fingernail clipper or a coin or a head stamp, I have to see what it is. And that's the addiction of treasure hunting. Now, I would have made a good archaeologist, I think, if I would have chose anything to do other than the life I've lived. I would have chose to be an archaeologist. Probably not the Indiana Jones type, but just the thrill of finding what's there. Because Aqua Chigger has a great song. I don't remember exactly who wrote that song. I looked it up one time, but it's all about the Mother Earth taking your rings and chains and hiding them in the ground for eternity until they're dug up. You know, they're there for eternity. So if I would have gone another route in my life, I think I would have been an archaeologist, just traveling around digging holes. And that's kind of what metal detecting is. You're a mini archaeologist. Yeah, looking for Atlantis. Those things always got my expectations up. I see somebody, when I see somebody digging for something, I just like digging myself. I have to see what they're digging up. I watch all those shows on YouTube, archaeology shows, mystical finds or mystery finds, what scientists can't explain. I love to watch those things to see what they dig out of the ground, but they put up a thumbnail and they never get to the thing that they put the thumbnail up for. That irritates me. Yeah, I put a lot of trash in the bin. Old Time Teams, is that a direct name? No, I haven't seen Old Time Teams. Now I'll have to look them up if that's the name of the channel. Time Team. Okay. There's so many of them, so many different ones where they've put collections of different things that they've found underwater or digging, and I got to watch them every chance I get. Cool, I'll look that up. But one of the channels I like to watch a lot is Scottish Detectorist, because he gets a lot of permissions on all these farms and stuff, and he finds a lot of old Celtic relics, Roman relics, and stuff like that. I have to turn it off every once in a while because I get envious, because I'm not in a place where I can find all those old relics like that. My old relics are keychains, clippers, and tent stakes, and so, but I do find some pretty good relic-y stuff sometimes, you know. I mean, I don't have anything out here, but I found some pretty good things that could be considered relics, and you know, like carriage bolts and stuff. I just found this at the beach on last Tuesday, and that's old. That's been in there. Well, that's salt water, so it probably hasn't been that long, but that's, you know, quite a few years in the sand. And it's a bolt, washers, and a nut. That's heavy equipment right there. That's a bolt off of heavy equipment. So really good size. That's a relic. So it's all in your mind what you're looking at, right? Are you looking at a relic, or Are you oh, I don't know. Guess I don't have anything right here in all my junk to. Let's see. No. But it's like this thing here that we determined is probably a piece of smashed pipe, but it's steel. And it comes to a deliberate point. It could be a relic, could be a piece of trash, just a smashed pipe, but it could be part of something else. So it's just how imaginative are you, you know? Nice. Nice, Chappie. See, I'd love to do an old barn, even around here, if I could find a place that would let me do an old barn. There's got to be a lot of tack, and, you know, who knows what is around an old barn. Just like that stirrup, you know, there's got to be some kind of tack around an old barn. So it's more likely that you'll find old relics around old buildings like that. A 350 million year old what, Jamie? You know, that carbon dating stuff really throws me off. They'll try to tell me that something that came from a couple hundred years ago is 300 million years old. I like the ones that oh, we got a fossil. I like the ones that they have found, like they say, this is from 20,000 years ago, and it's a modern watch that they found in a piece of stone that is 20,000 years old. I think something's wrong with that. I think something's wrong with that. But you know, if it's fossilized and you can recognize whether it was a shell or, I mean, even if it was a leaf that got fossilized, which there's a lot of that, right? Foliage. You know that it's old if it's in a certain type of rock and a certain depth, but I still don't know how old. Cool. That's excellent, Jamie. What time is it? So you know what gets me the most oohs and ahs from people in the parks is when you pull something like that out of the tot lot. You pull that out of the tot lot and somebody's watching, they're almost coming over and giving you hugs because their kids are playing in that tot lot. 6:11 p.m. blistering. Thanks. 6:11. Did you have a good dinner? Have you had dinner yet? But I can say last week I didn't go ringless. So this is a very expensive ring. I don't see any markings in it. But I'm going to test it later to see whether it's neoprene or just what kind of plastic that is. I'm going to test it. But I don't see any markings, so it's going to be a little harder. Yeah, me too. I like the pop rings because you don't have to hold them. You just put them on your finger and you lick it to your heart's content while you're working. A brake pipe? You think that's a brake pipe? Or this? Now this, I just cleaned the end of this out, and this is interesting. Okay, I think this is a lipstick tube. Can you guys see that down in there? I think that's what the lipstick rides on. I think this is an old lipstick tube. Yeah, I just cleaned the end of it out. It had dirt in it. And it's got a rod in there. I think you're right, Happy Chappy. I think that's a lipstick tube. That's one of the old ones, though, because all the new ones are made out of plastic. This is at least the 50s or 60s. 20s or 40s? Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's even older, yeah. That could be 20s and 40s. Yeah, I watched him this morning too. He said he went up to a park. He's in New England, and he went up to a park close to Maine up there. But I think Danny Boy is doing so well on the clad and the coinage because I don't think there's too many metal detectors in New England. According to the population in New England, I don't think there could be. Now, around here, I've got metal detectorists coming out of the woodwork. Everywhere I go, there's another metal detectorist. Yeah, he told me the other day that Danny Boy up over $500 in clad, I think. I think that's what he said for this year. Yeah, he got his first snow. Yeah, I don't think it's going to snow around here. I never have that problem. The rain is the worst here. You know, if it's rainy, it gets cold, you get wet. I think snow is cold, but I think it's a lot better than rain because you don't get so wet. Yes, I will. I'm sure of it, William, as soon as you get the opportunity. And you live close enough by me here, so there's a good chance we'll be running into each other, maybe on purpose. Gregory Freeman and I are going to get together here soon as I get back on my feet permanently. And we're going to go out, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind. We can all get together one day. I would love to get, 3, 4, 5 detectorists together and just have a little hunt someplace. Find a spot that is unlikely for anybody to have said, "Oh, great, that's a good spot," and we can just go to a spot and just see what we can find. I love that. You know how that is, William. I'll go off road, to. We could all get together. You definitely digging in the ground. You got to have knee pads. I got to find a really good set of knee pads. I took some cheapy knee pads that have the elastic straps on them, and they stretch out and they don't stay on good. So I bought 2 knee braces. Those tight elastic knee braces that you can put on, and I sewed my knee pads to the knee braces. So they work really good now. I mean, you use William E as a knee pad. Well, I have a whites. Kind of don't want to get rid of it because it's when I bought it, it was an expensive metal detector. Not, I don't want to not get rid of it because of that, but it was my first metal detector, and I've been thinking about taking it out and detecting again with it, just to go out, and I might do that. I might compare what my whites gets as to what my legend gets. I know a lot of people will compare metal detectors and stuff, but I think it's just they're 2 different kinds. One has a vid screen and one has not. One's a VHR, one's not. So, but no, I was telling everybody, James, this past week, my son and grandson came, and I think you saw him on my live the other day. But my son bought a Simplex Plus, and he bought my grandson a MIDI Horde. Now they're Noctas, and you know I'm not touting Nocta for any other reason than that's one of the things I know. But the Nocta MIDI Horde, just to see if you like it, it's only $150, and it did really well out there. I mean, it found things not real deep, but it found everything my legend could find, you know, and it even tells you on the vid screen whether it's iron or whether it's precious, and whether it could be a coin or jewelry, or whether it could be a horseshoe or a bottle cap or a nail. You know, I thought that was interesting for a new metal detectorist. Whether you're a kid or whether you're an older person, a middle-aged person, a young person, an old codger like me, you you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money, and I wouldn't suggest buying a used detector, only because a used detector is used, and you don't know how many trips are still left in it. But you know, they last a long time. But I would rather buy something new, spend less money on it. But that MIDI Horde is like my whites. It doesn't make a lot of different tones. You can't adjust all kinds of things on it, which is good, because if you get one that you have to adjust and everything, you might get lost in trying to adjust it. If it just does it, if you're just out of the box, you turn it on and it does it, it's better for people who are brand new. Then you can work your way into the arena that you want to be in. Like, the reason I bought the Legend was because I wanted to go in the water with it, and it goes underwater real well. But then you have to buy headphones and all kinds of things to go along with it, you know, so it gets expensive. So if you just stick with the cheapy, stay on top of the ground metal detector, and see if you like the treasure hunting, see if you like the digging, see if you like to be out there all day long getting dirty and being amazed at what comes out of the ground. Yeah, I'd still be looking at something 3K. I'd still be looking years from now, because I don't think I'd pay $3,000 for one. There's I on my channel in the description, some where I have a description on my videos, a company, 3D Treasure Hunt, asked me to put their company in my about, or in my description. And they do 3D scanners, and they cost like $3,000 for a 3D scanner, and they scan the ground. And so you see what's under the ground. You see all this stuff under the ground before you ever try to dig it. And that would be great, but that kind of spoils the surprise in a way. But that would be so fantastic to have a scanner that would tell you what all's under the ground. You scan the ground, and it shows you all this stuff under the ground. And those things are expensive and probably would be really great. But my thought on stuff like that is that if you saw what was under there, you wouldn't bother digging it up. And half of my whole thing is digging it up. Not a mini, a MIDI. It's long enough. My son is 6 foot tall, and he used the MIDI horde, and it adjusts out to just as long as my Legend did, or any of the Noxes. You know, it adjusts. It's not a little bitty kids thing. It's the arm cuff on it is a little smaller. For a kid, but the length of it adjusts to length. My son's 6 foot tall. He was using it, and he was just fine. But I mean, it doesn't have to be the MIDI horde. It can be any inexpensive detector. Just don't spend thousands or hundreds of dollars on something unless you think that you're going to be doing it for a long time and you're going to be getting your use out of it and you're going to be enjoying it. Because if you get out there and all this looks good to you and you think, oh, that'd be fun, that'd be great. It's just like any other hobby. You know, if you go out and you say, I want to make a garden. Well, that looks like it'd be a lot of fun, digging a garden and planting the food and everything. But you get out there and you start digging with the shovel, and you find that I don't really like digging with a shovel. What am I thinking about? You're not going to build a garden, right? That was kind of a dumb analogy, right? But that's the way it is, you know, because, okay, if you are going to go detecting and you can't bend over and you get really tired bending over, you can't get down on the ground, you can't get back up, metal detecting is not going to be for you, because that's going to be 85% of what you do is getting down on the ground and getting back up. Yeah, go as cheap as you can. There's metal detectors out there for around $100. I've seen them for like $89 and up, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to find out if you like it. You just don't. Any metal detector will find metal, and only when you're more experienced. Only when you're more experienced and you've figured out that this is what you really want to do. I started taking out my metal detector that I bought years ago for prospecting, because I saw everybody else having fun, and I had a metal detector that I'd already paid $500 plus for back in the 90s, and that was a more expensive one in the 90s. And I went to buy a cheap one, and I decided I wanted to buy one that I had a better chance at getting gold with. Well, you know what? I took it out a few times, and I never really found any gold. Found a lot of black sand, found a lot of metal. But then when I got back on my feet after my ordeal with my feet, and I wanted to go do something. I'm not one, I don't have a dog. I can't go walking a dog, and don't like just hiking and walking. So I wanted to do something that I keep moving and get the circulation back in my legs and everything. And this turned out to be my forte. I'm not the best metal detectorist, as you can see. I find all kinds of stuff, and I will dig up anything. And it's just because I love being out there doing it. The cheap ones do great. It's the treasure that you find. If it beeps, if you look at a metal detector as if it made one tone, one number, didn't have anything else, you just swung it over metal, and it goes, there's a piece of metal there. Now the rest of it is digging it up and seeing what it is, and being able to get down there every time it makes a noise and dig it up to see what it is. Yeah, well, you prefer quality, and that's great. But if you buy the quality, William, I know you spend a lot of time on my channel and other channels, and so I know that you have an interest in it. But if you haven't gone out and spent the whole day from sunup to whenever you get tired, if you haven't spent that day out there and you've got the best quality detector, and then at the end of the day you find that you don't like spending the time using it, swinging it, digging it, getting dirty, then you spent way too much money. Because now that quality detector is going to be in your closet, right? Because you're not going to go out again. So if you buy a cheap one, at least you're not out very much, and then you can always take it back and get your money back, because you're going to find out, I guarantee you're going to find out within 30 days, you're going to find out if it's for you or not. And then you take that money and you spend it on a quality one because you love doing it and you want a higher quality detector that's more versatile. Yeah, I go for that. But I wouldn't spend $3,000 on a detector unless you've gone out and figured out whether you really want to be a detectorist and a treasure hunter. Does that make any sense? I just don't want somebody to go out and spend their life savings on something and find out that they're going to park it. Well, you know what, guys? I've been on my 2 hours, and you guys have been perfectly amazing again. And this is one of my better lives chats. And I really appreciate you being here. But I really got other things that I've got to get going on. So hang on just a second. Here we go. I will get up here and say goodbye. Well, if I can get my stand to do something right here. Okay, there we go. You guys are awesome. Thank you for looking at all my treasure trash. Thank you for talking with me and spending your time with me and mounting up those watch hours. God bless you all for being who you are and being here. I appreciate you. Peace. Later, Gators. Let's hunt.